Ah, hey there. Here's hoping that you can all hear me. You can all hear me, right? I see the green light lighting up, so that tells me that we are audio ready. Snow in Pittsburgh. Dang, it's April. That's crazy. We're actually uh we're gonna be in the low 70s next week and then mid 60s, high 60s the week after. Very weird for California, for LA especially. That's kind of normal weather for up north. Uh, Woohoo! Here comes Tom. But the weather here has been unseasonably cool. Of course, warmer weather is better for fighting off viruses. So I'm kind of wishing it were a little warmer, but I'm liking that it's saving me on my electric bill. Um, but yeah, normally, some point, usually in February we get a week of 90, sometimes 2 weeks of 90, or in May we could get a week of in the hundreds, that kind of thing. We haven't seen any weather. I think we've had 2 or 3 days over 80 this whole year so far, which is very unusual. So that's I'm looking forward to warmer weather though. Want to use the pool. We did use the jacuzzi the other night and it was raining and that was pretty nice. It took a while to heat it up, but once it got heated up, it was super nice. Felt really bougie. Felt like so this is David, you wanted me to play the PRS today. So here's the PRS. PRS stands for Paul Reed Smith. And he's been making guitars for quite a while. I don't even know how far back, probably back in the 70s he started. I know Bob Taylor started in the 70s. I have a friend of mine actually has the first guitar Bob Taylor ever made. It was a 12 string and it was called Great American, I think is what the headstock said. And since, 10 years ago, 12, 15 years ago, Bob has been trying to buy it back from my friend. But my friend's like a very successful doctor and he doesn't need the money. So really there's no price. He just likes owning. Oh, I got to turn on my light. And there we go. I'm wearing pants. You can see that. So if you're new to the channel, the drinking game, we have a drinking game. So get your drinks out. Okay. I got my coffee here and I got water in case I run out of coffee. And there are 4 rules now. We keep adding rules. If I touch my face, everybody gets to take a sip. Pants confirmed, yes. If I refer to myself in the third person, we all have to take a sip. If if I ever say anywhere in the stream, I had a band in high school called, we have to take a sip, not including that time. I just said it, so no sips. And then the last one is if I pick up a guitar and don't realize it's in a different tuning and I just start playing like I think I'm in standard tuning, then you have to take a sip. Now that's happened once. I'm going to think that it will never happen again. So, but you guys will be so happy if it does. You want to see me fail in that. I'm in standard tuning right now. And it doesn't count if I'm in drop D and I know I'm in drop D. See that it's only if I don't realize what tuning I'm in. Pants confirmed. Let's see. Ira, good to see you. Hook, Bruce, Kimberly. Dennis, you made it. I waited for you. Dennis messaged me on Facebook, said I'm getting back from work. I still have 34 minutes. Wait for me. I'm like, yeah, okay. I swear, if I didn't log on exactly at 11, you guys would all think I died. I just know it. AJ, you're here. I got your emails. Thank you so much. I will reply. There were a couple things I could tell you right now. Where are you, AJ? Are you here yet? Where's Verdi? We got Verdi can now have a cigarette every 13 minutes. We've upped it to 13 minutes from 10 minutes between cigarettes. He's probably not going to watch anymore because he doesn't like us all holding him accountable. And then AJ has been doing more PDFs for me, and it's really funny because I feel like a high school teacher because I'm grading these, and sending them corrections. Hey Gary, hey Ira. And I said hi Ira. Who was else I saw up here David, Kevin, Kathy, of course. And Pepper, you're here. Yep, Pepper, you're here. I got your message. Thank you for that. Totally, there's no reason we can't have more than one admin. And Kathy, please let me know if it's becoming too much of a burden. Also, Kathy, I put together, I asked you yesterday to save some links that we've been using. And you can totally do that if you beat me to it. You can post them when we need them. But basically just links to diagrams, pages that you can print up for writing out all our chords and things like that. So in the process of looking over AJ's PDF that he sent me, that we're kind of going back and forth a little bit right now, making some minor fixes. He did an assignment that I asked him to, which was, hey, do this. This was our chord theory day 2 sheet. Do this in the key of G. And I didn't say G major. So he did it starting on G and did all the chords in G Dorian, which was a good exercise. G Mixolydian, which is a great exercise, but that's not what I wanted. And so I thought, I should probably do it in G. Somebody else asked me about that. And hey, Walter. So we're gonna do this sheet again, but we're gonna do it in the key of G. We're not gonna do this one. This was the first one we did. We're gonna go ahead and do this one, which contains the first one. So we're gonna do the triads, and then we're gonna add the 7th chords. Okay, so we're going to do this sheet again. And then what we're going to do, we'll probably get this done today. Tomorrow, we will go on and then we will do chords with the 6th string in the root. So yesterday we learned, and the day before we learned chords. I really liked that lesson. Like I said, I'd never really taught that lesson before. I was kind of winging it, and it turned out really good because I think you guys learned you got a lot of fretboard knowledge out of it. Some of you, whether you realize it or not, and others of you were like light bulbs were going on. And I love that. That's one of my favorite things to see happen. So 2 days ago, we did the C scale on 1 string, and then we added the 3rd. And then we put the 3rd up an octave. And then we added the 5th. So if you didn't catch that lesson, that's 2 days ago. This is lesson 24. That I think was lesson 22. And then lesson 23, we added the 7ths in there. So we did the 7ths, which I love 7ths. We added the 7th of those chords. AJ, are you here yet? Hey, Andrew, how's it going, man? Hey, Andrew, can you do a magic trick through live chat? Is that even possible? If not, you need to create one. That would be dope. Andrew, you and I should work out a magic trick together. Like you say, pick a card or whatever, and you guess what card it is. Like Andrew is that good. Andrew had a show in Vegas where he hypnotized like 100 people on stage at the same time. It was like, are you kidding me? Unbelievable. So he's a very good friend and a lot of fun to hang around with. My kids love him. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to do the math page, kind of the brain work, the paperwork. We're in the key of G. So we'll have all of this in the key of G. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing we did with the key of C, but we're going to do it the key of G. We're going to do it on a bottom string, and we're going to learn all new chords. Here's what we're ultimately going to, the chords we're going to learn. G major 7, A minor 7, B minor 7, C major 7, D7, E minor 7, F minor 7 flat, or F sharp minor 7 flat 5, and G major 7. Okay, those are going to be our chords that we're ultimately going to get to. But what I want to do is I want to get to them in pieces, starting out with the chords, the scale on the string, the thirds, and then moving the 3rd up an octave like we did. And like I said, AJ's not here yet, I don't think. Okay, Andrew, I'm thinking of a number between 3 and 5. Tell me what I'm thinking. You didn't say whole number, you know. Oh, Jim got it. Man, Jim's freaking me out here. Yeah. Dennis tried to check you out, Walter, but he was just too exhausted from 2 hours with me. So, okay. So what time is it? 10 minutes in already. Okay. So we can go ahead and jump in on this. We got 44 people online right now. So let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to redo this, but in the key of G. And we will get triads and all that stuff for thirds. Kathy, let me know when AJ jumps in. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a blank sheet of paper and we are going to write a G major scale out. Okay. The formula for a major scale we're going to use, because I'm going to have you make the scale for me. Whole step, half step, whole step, half step. That's the formula for, see, I should put this one away. This is the 3. I don't need this one around. I need the 2. Here's the 2. Or I could try the 1. Let me try the 1, see what it looks like. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so we're going to start with a G. Okay, you see that okay? My crappy penmanship. All right, so what's a whole step up from G? If somebody wants to just write out the whole scale, I will grade your work. Very good, Verdi. Hey, Verdi's here. No, you have no sips to catch up on, Verdi. Also, 13 minutes now between cigarettes, not 13 seconds. 13 minutes between cigarettes. You admitted it was 10 minutes between cigarettes. So we're trying to add a minute a day. We're thinking of you, okay? Yep, so Verdi is right. It's G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And then we're going to write 2 octaves. So we're going to write it out again. So right after this G here, at the end of the scale, we'll start with A and go up to G again. Okay, so A, B, C, D. Seconds, you say? Stop. F sharp and G. And so the half steps are still in the same places they were with the C scale. Remember, it's whole step, G to A, whole step. There's our half step. So we can put a caret there. Dang it, I just wrote on the paper. Okay. And then, oh, and weird, Kathy and Pepper, I got a notice on yesterday's video that it wasn't appropriate for some advertisers. And I disputed it, and then they changed that. So I'm not sure what happened or what I said. I remember one time I said HE double hockey sticks or something to that effect. And it gave me that same notice. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. You know, I mean, I understand that they kind of, they're transcribing what I'm saying, but I didn't know it happened that fast. But it could also be something that happened in here. So guys, watch what you say over here, that it can't be too misconstrued. It may have just been the word pants, to be honest, which is just funny because the context, you know, they may go pants. Wait a minute. I know, but I should be getting like clothing ads then, whatever. But it's just funny to me. So I couldn't figure out what I said or what was written. Yeah, this is a family show. So there is 2 octaves of a G major scale. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. That's our new sharp. G. This is a 1 sharp key. Okay. We have a 2nd sharp, but that's only because we wrote 2 octaves. Now, beneath this, we want to write the numbers 1 all the way to 15 below each number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And so in this, we can kind of see intervals. G to A is a 2nd. G to B is a 3rd. G to C is a 4th. G to D is a 5th. G to E is a 6th. G to F sharp is a 7th. G to G is an octave. G to the A above that is a 9th. G. So this is, you can see how we're going to come up with the names of chords. Okay. Hey, Abhishek, Ab. I'm just going to call you Ab or Abby. Okay. Now let's see. What was the next thing we did? Oh, okay. We can do that again since there are probably some new people there. So we're going to learn two different types of thirds: a major third and a minor third. And a major third is comprised of, I'm going to use a capital M to notate it. A major third is comprised of 2 whole steps, so it equals 2 whole steps. So, for example, G to A is a whole step and A to B is a whole step. So G to B is a major third. Okay? Yeah, it's a little small. Sorry about that. And is that going to be okay, Kathy? You can read that, right? You're doing most of the work. You guys are. So, okay, and then the minor third is comprised of either a whole step and a half step, so one whole and one half, or one half and one whole. It doesn't matter which order they appear, it's still a minor third. So A to B is a whole step, B to C is a half step, so A to C is a minor third. B to C is a half step, C to D is a whole step, so B to D is a minor third. C to D is a whole step, D to E is a whole step, so C to E is a major third. Okay? And the difference in sounds between a major third is exactly what makes up major and minor chords. So for example, here's C to E. And then if I flat that, it's a minor third. You can totally hear the difference. That sounds happy. Smile. You smiled. You smiled. Okay. And then frown. That should be my screenshot right there. It's my impression of an iguana. See, I like the. Anyway. Okay. Oh my gosh. Everybody did screenshots just then. I know you guys did, didn't you? Yeah. So, and then the D1 is a minor and so on. We did that with C. So we're doing this with G now. So here's G and here's B. Happy, major third, minor third, sad. So G to B flat would be a minor third, an example of a minor third. We don't have any B flats in this key though. Tom's iguana lesson. I almost said it, but it's just not funny enough to be a band name. New Tinder profile picture. Yeah, exactly. I'm assuming that's how some of you met your significant others. I met Beth at Chippendales. All right, so I'm kidding. Up the dosage, Tom. Yeah, no, I've clearly already drank most of my coffee. All right. Hey, I didn't say, well, you can take a sip because I took a sip, but that's not part of the rule to the Disney ride. Exactly. Okay. So now, what do we do next? Oh, yeah. Okay. So now let's write the G scale vertically. We don't need to write it twice. We can keep it a little neater. Go G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. Okay. Now, we're gonna do this a little faster than we did last time because you guys all worked with me last time. What we might do is go ahead and I might have you go ahead and tell me the seventh chords, the four notes outright rather than go one at a time. Oh, did I touch my face? Who's keeping track of that? You guys want me to touch? I'm not touching my face. Andrew, you said the other day, you said something about don't touch my face, don't put my fingers in any holes. And I'm like, well, why did God make all the holes finger shaped? Okay, so here we have the scale written vertically. Okay, this is going to be the 1 chord, this is going to be the 2 chord, this is going to be the 3 chord, this is going to be the 4 chord, and so on. Okay, so so what we're going to do is we're going to skip letters. We're just going to go to thirds, and we're going to do the first one, G up a third, G, A, B is the third above G. The third above B is D, and the third above D is F sharp. So that's our F sharp, or that's our 1 chord, G, B, D, F sharp. You guys just come here for the banter, don't you? None of you actually even own a guitar. You're just here for the banter. Okay, so there's our first chord. And we can go ahead and analyze that now. All right. So what we want to know, okay, good, Ab. What we want to know is G to B, is that a major third or a minor third? So somebody write out so if it's a major third, you write a capital M. If it's a minor third, we write a small m. And same thing for this one. B to D, is that a major or minor? And so we should have 3 M's in a row right here to analyze it. And if we, yep, it's a major third. That's right. So if we'll have different capital M for major third and small case M for minor third. David, exactly right. Okay. So this will totally parrot, mirror, shadow, whatever, the C major scale that we did. So this isn't technically new information. It's just new information moved to a different key, or the same information moved to a different key. So capital M, little m, capital M. Ooh, this pen is easier to write with. It's a lot neater, in my opinion. 100%. Yeah, I got the door shut, so my cat will come in here and she'll start harassing me. So, okay, so that's that one. We're going to let's see. Sorry. Yeah. So we'll go to the formulas at the bottom here. Well, let's go ahead and do the next one. So give me the notes in the A chord. What are the notes in the A chord here in the key of G? And I can wait because you guys are pretty fast. Right, Verdi, it was a major. Yeah, exactly. So the G chord was major, minor, major, and we'll analyze that. We'll tell you what that. There's going to be 4 different combinations that occur naturally in the major key. You're in awe of that wall. Believe it or not, that wall's not for show. It's really just like, oh, I need that guitar. Oh, I got somebody. Oh, that's right. Keith, you're right. Verdi, you're almost there. Exactly. Yep. Pepper. Perfect. Good job. Pepper's like studying for 18 tests and hanging with us. A, C, E, G. Okay. So what's the major minor configuration of that 7th chord? And these are 7th chords. So just so you know, this is the 1, this is the 3, this is the 5, and this is the 7. So that columns, these are all the ones of these chords. These are all the thirds of these chords. These are all the fifths of these chords. No, Pepper, not right. Right? Yeah, you're gonna have to. Yeah, you're gonna have to send selfies, Kathy. I want to see the guitars. You guys can always post pictures on the Facebook page. I think I have to approve them and everything. Oh, you got ocarinas. I don't have any ocarinas. I need to get an ocarina. No, Verdi. A to C is a minor third. That was the G one. So if you were guessing the G one, that was correct. But I already wrote that one out, so you're lagging here. You were lighting the cigarette. A to C is a minor third. C to E is a major third, and E to G is a minor third. So it's going to be minor, major, minor. Okay. A to C. See, there's a caret in between A and C. C to E, there is no caret in between C to E, so those are 2 whole steps. And then E to G also has a half step. So it would be Hook, you're right. Why is A to C a minor? Oh, why is A to C a minor? Because there's a half step there. A to B is a whole step. B to C is a half step. And so if it's a whole step and a half step, it's a minor third. Or if it's a half step and a whole step, it doesn't matter which order those come in, but that's why. So the correct answer is minor, major, minor. Okay. And that's the formula. Well, we'll learn that in a second, but that's the formula for a minor 7. We're gonna get that in a second. Okay. So let's do the B one. So start on B, skip a letter, skip a letter, skip a letter. And what are the 4 notes we're going to have in the key of G starting on B? And it's funny because on my so somebody add that in there on my video, by far my most popular video, the 7 tips for older beginners, which is how many of you came to know my channel. I say keep a guitar out and to have it handy, because otherwise, if it's in the closet in the case, you're probably not going to pick it up every day because it's out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. Let's see, Gary, we're starting on B. You got most of it. B, D, F, A. Yeah, Keith, except it would be F sharp because we're in the key of G. So yeah, B, D, F sharp, A. All right, I'm going to write that in. B, D, F sharp, A. And I understand we are going faster than we did in the key of C. So that would be B, D, F sharp, A is the correct answer. Pepper, you're right. It also is. So now you understand. Yeah, you understand. You got the minor, major, minor thing right. Very good, Ira. David, correct. Yeah, Gary, you just forgot the B. You may have typed it, but it may not have gone in. I've done that. So again, we have minor, major, minor. So the 2 chord and the 3 chord are both the same kind of chord. They have the same exact DNA. All right, let's do the next one. Starting on C, we want to go every other note. And this is why I wrote out, we wrote out 2 octaves of the G scale. So you don't have to go C, E, and then, you don't have to think that hard. You can just go right up the scale and keep going. So what are the 4 notes? David, you're half right. You're half right. Your first part is right. David got the right. So it is C, E, G, B. That is correct. So you can write here after the C, write E, G, B. Oh, you know what? Gary, you know what you were doing? Is you were skipping the B because it was already written. That's what you were doing. So yeah, I know what you were doing. So it's there goes my phone. Okay. So we need the major minor configuration for that. For the C to E, C to E is 2 whole steps. So that's a major. Okay. E to G is E whole step to F sharp and then half step. So E to G is a minor third. And then G to B is also a major third because there's no half steps there. Okay. So it's major, minor, major. Pepper, you're right. So that's, and you can do a screen cap or screenshot after when I finish this page. Okay. And then probably what we're going to do is we're going to start. We're not going to get all the way to 7th chord, but we're going to go ahead and start because we're half done and we're at 27 minutes. So we're doing pretty good. That's right. Thanks, Kathy. So yeah, this is shorthand. I don't want to write out major 3, all that. So it's just shorthand. Okay, so we have the next one to do. We need the D. So give me the notes, the D7 chord, the 7th chord we're going to do for D starting. So we start on D. What's the next 3 notes? If you want to just tell me the next 3 notes, but go ahead and try to do them all. Pepper, you're getting ahead. You're right. You're right about that one, Pepper. But we're doing the D first. Yes, exactly right, Gary. Yep. Gary, you're right. So this is good. This, like I said, you could almost just white out these sections, but all of this other stuff is going to stay the same. This, the suffixes are going to stay the same. So yeah, it's going to be the same because we're starting with a major scale. Now, what AJ did when he sent me his was he actually thought I meant do the G Mixolydian. So that would line up differently. The chords would be different in a different order. Yes, D, F sharp, A, and C. Okay. And then this one is different. So Pepper, you're not quite right. You got the first 2 intervals right. The first 2/3 are right. But so D to F sharp is a major third. F sharp to A is a minor third, but A to C is a minor. So this is a new one. We've had major, minor, major, and we've had minor, major, minor, but now we have major, minor, minor. And the thing is, you can tell if the first interval, the major, minor, tells you if it's a major chord or a minor chord. Okay. So the G chord is a major chord and it starts with a major triad. I mean, a major third. The A chord and the B chord are both minor chords and they start with minor. That's why they're minor. F sharp. See, F sharp might be construed as okay. And Pepper, you already answered the next one, so I'm just going to write it down. E G B D, and she even got the analysis right. So E G B D. And again, I'm talking through this so many times just because there's still someone out there that's like, I don't understand this. And then I say it for the 17th time and they're like, I understand this. It's like a switch. And trust me, I'm with you, and we're doing this multiple ways. I'm telling you, so you're hearing it. Some of you are auditory learners, some of you are visual learners, and some of you are hands-on learners. So I'm encouraging you to write this down yourself. Okay, even after I complete this, and if we do a screenshot, still maybe write the whole thing out yourself in your own handwriting so you can actually read it. And Pepper, you had the right major, minor, major. So that's the E chord there. So E, G, B, D. All right. All right. We have really one more to do. Really just one more to do. Oh, Pepper, you're getting ahead of us on this. But you're exactly right again. Verdi's like, yeah, what Pepper said. Yeah, I apologize because I know I'm going slow for some of you, but I'm assuming we've got 41 people right now viewing. I'm assuming there's a couple people that didn't get that first lesson. So I'm going to write in F sharp. F sharp up a third is A up a third is C up a third is E, and that's how we build chords on thirds. All right. These are all seventh chords. They have 4 notes in them: a root, a third, a fifth, and a seventh. Every time I say these things, it's like another light bulb goes on. And so we have minor, minor, major. All right. And then the G is going to be the same, obviously. G, B, D, F sharp. And it's going to be major, minor, major. Okay. So we have 4 naturally occurring seventh chords in any major key. And the major, minor, major is a major seventh chord. Okay. I like to write triangle 7, but that's just kind of my notation. I see it, but I don't know where I learned it from. There's a lot of times people will write MAJ7. I've seen capital M7, which I don't like. I've seen like a C7 or G7 chord would be written G7, and a G major 7 chord is G7 with a line through the 7. And I don't like that notation either, because when you're reading really fast or you're in a situation of a recording session and you're like sight reading everything, I want pretty clear notation. So I hate that notation. I haven't seen that one very much though. Mostly in old books from the 70s. Oh, I want to show you a couple books that changed my life guitar wise. But I will try to pull those out another time because I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave the room. Yep, exactly right. So this one is G major 7. And there's another one that's a major 7th here. The other chord that was major, minor, major was the C chord. So C, the 4 chord, is also a C major 7. But the 5 chord, remember we talked about 1, 4, 5 progressions are the 3 major chords. The 5 chord is indeed a major chord, but it's not a major 7th chord because it's got a minor. It ends with A to C, which is a minor 3rd. Okay, we're going to get to that one in a second. We also had minor, major, minor, and that is a minor 7th. Okay, and that would be just written small m7. That's pretty darn universal. I've not seen anything other than that kind of notation. So there we have 3 chords in the key, in any major key, that are minor 7th chords: the 2 chord, the 3 chord, and the 6 chord. In other words, the chord built on the 2nd note of the scale, A, is an A minor 7. The chord built on the 3rd note of the scale, B minor 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The chord built on the 6th note, we call it oftentimes the 6th chord, is also a minor 7. So we can write A minor 7, B minor 7, and E minor 7, and we're almost done. We got 2 more formulas. There was another one that was major, minor, minor, and that's a dominant 7th. And that is you just write 7. You take the letter, if it in this case D7 would be a dominant 7th. Okay, but you don't have to write dominant. Used to, I would see that like back in the 70s. Again, it was one of those things that you would see. I don't really see that anymore. Everybody's pretty much accepted the shorthand for that. Some people are confused. They're like, well, is that a major seventh or minor or dominant seventh? I'm like, no, it's dominant seventh. Major seventh, we need some kind of symbol, something to notate that generally. Okay, then we have one more variation that occurs naturally, and that was minor, minor, major, right? And that was the seventh chord. The seventh chord, and I think David likes it when I use, yes, no, it's not a diminished seventh. We talked about that before, right? Diminished seventh would be minor, 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 and that doesn't occur naturally in a major key. This is actually a half diminished seven, but I don't call it that because of my jazz background. I mean, if it was a classical, if I mean, I had some classical. That was my major in college, but if I was more of a classical musician and was talking more to classical musicians, or as they like to refer to themselves, legit musicians, which cracks me up. If I was talking to them, I would say half diminished. But everybody else I talk to, I say that would be a minor seventh with a flat five. Okay, so that's how I write it. So this one would be F sharp, oops, seventh with a flat five. And you can put the flat five just there next to the seven, or you can put it in parentheses if you really want. And then the last one again is G major seven. Okay, now, David, I'm going to do the thing that you like. I'm going to go ahead and put the Roman numerals over here. So capital Roman numeral for the one chord. All right, because we do refer to these things. And then small case Roman numeral for 2, 3, and then capital Roman numeral for 4. Capital Roman, like a Super Bowl, 5. C6, and then the 7 would be actually you could here you might use the half diminished symbol because again the Roman numeral notation is more of a classical thing. One of the things I did in high school and in college in music theory was we would analyze hymnals. So we'd look at hymnals and look at the chords and we'd go, okay, this is the one. We do it like if it was the one chord, we wrote a capital Roman numeral. If it was gosh, I do not want to confuse. This is a flashback for me. But like if it was a one chord with a third in the bass, it would be a 1-6. Don't ask why. And if it was a fifth in the bass, it'd be a 1 with a 6 and a 4 written on top of each other like a fraction. Just crazy. So don't really use this very often. But when I say I talk about the 6th chord, so here's an example of the numerology of chord progressions. Probably the most common chord progression in the 50s pop music was a 1-6-4-5 progression. And I'm going to do it in G. I'll probably get a takedown notice now for that. There'll be like eight different publishers. They'll say that's our song. Stupid. I'm still fighting it still hasn't been resolved. When I played the what was it? It was 6 Pavanas and a Fantasia. Remember that? The Louis Milan. I was playing this. It's 500 years old, and I got a copyright infringement notice on that video. I'm like, dang it. So I may have to end up chopping that out. Probably what I should have done in the first place. But I kind of, so far, I haven't lost any of my copyright. I can only lose 3. If I lose 3, they take down my channel. So if I lose 1, I'm probably not going to do it anymore. I'll just like not monetize that video for whatever reason. Yeah, that's an Ed Sheeran song. Oh my gosh, he's gotten in so much trouble. But that's a subject for another video. And we could do a video too soon of just Q&A if you want. I was before I got distracted by the actual lesson, I was talking about the comments I get on my, like I said, my number 1 hit, 7 tips for older beginners. And a lot of people comment, well, you shouldn't tell people to keep their guitars out because they could crack and they could dry out. And I'm just like, I just don't, I've got a scale right here. Okay. a ruined guitar or no playing ability. It's like the chance of a guitar getting ruined by sitting out is probably more likely that the maid knocks it over. By maid, I mean my wife knocks it over with a vacuum cleaner. Sorry, I'm totally going to get grief for that one. Or the kids knock it over, or the dog knocks it over. That's more likely than it's going to crack because of dry. I don't care how dry your climate is. And the other thing is, if you do have a room that's the music room where you got a guitar or two, you can always put a humidifier in there. I have a humidifier. I had a humidifier in my closet, and it worked great. Kept the guitars great, perfectly humidified. So that mark behind I don't know how to make it. It's a little degree sign with a slash through it. Okay, so that would be 7, small case 7, with a little degree sign with a slash through it, and then the 7. Okay. David, Beth is not going to like that one. She's been married to me for 32 years. She knows what, she laughs if I say something like that. If I say, oh, the maid didn't do this dish over here. Hey, the maid needs to pick it. She just cracks up. And then she walks away. No. She's bored. Oh my gosh, she is so bored. So I've been pretty busy. So I'm telling people half of my time is spent working and half of my time is spent keeping Beth busy. So she would love to be working right now, but she can't. So she's a school teacher. So and she's a sub, so she's not actually working with kids online or anything like that. So but she is thinking about starting her own YouTube channel, of which all of you will have to subscribe. She's thinking about doing read alouds, particularly for junior high kids, like chapter books. She wanted to do Little House on the Prairie because Little House on the Prairie, it's a great book to read right now because they like they're making soap out of dirt and cow dung, or whatever. It's like you can learn how to do all. Not that you can find any cow dung, in LA, but. Or whatever they do some amazing things on that. I remember that, not the show so much, but the books were like that. It was like, holy cow, they really needed to figure it out, So no dinner for me. You know what? We're having pizza tonight. So I'm ordering pizza for Good Friday. It's traditional. No, it's not. We have a numero uno's just around the corner, and they have the best crust. It's sweet and soft. I don't know how they do it. Probably just sugar or something. So I'm getting a giant numero uno's pizza that I can keep in the fridge and eat for the next couple of days. Yeah. So Beth is we're just trying now. Right now, we're trying to figure out the best way to film it, and the easiest way for her to film it and edit it, because she doesn't want me and I don't want to be spending all my time working on her videos. She thought about doing it live like this, and she still may do that at some point, but I think it's probably better to go ahead and record a whole book and then break it up into chapters, and then release like one a day kind of thing. We're sticking to public domain works. So Little House on the Prairie is not public domain. She might start with something like Happy Prince, which is for all ages, because Oscar Wilde is public domain. But there are like George MacDonald. I don't know if you're familiar. There's great books that are now public domain that have kind of been forgotten. And so she would like to do maybe some like George MacDonald and not George Michael. Okay. Nice. We're just eating potatoes there. Yeah, we've recently restocked up our fridge, so we're good. Okay, so this is here. I'm going to hold this up. So again, so anyone who's new, we got 45 people on. This is what we've done so far today. Okay, this is the 7th chords in the key of G major 7. We wrote out a 2-octave G major scale. Okay, let me get my face out of here. Hey, did you guys see me? Did you say sip? I never saw a sip. I totally touched my face, guys. You didn't see it. Whose job is it to keep track of this? God, you guys are behind. You're slacking. Pepper's like, sip. She's been dying. I know I'm going to dehydrate you guys today. That's my goal. Okay. So we have that. I wrote out G major scale 2 octaves. Okay. We put these little, what are called carets, upside down V's over the half steps. So B to C is a half step, F sharp to G is a half step. We learned that there's 2 kind of thirds, major third and minor third. And we learned that major third is 2 whole steps, like G to B is 2 whole steps, G, A, B. And then there are minor thirds that occur naturally, like A to C is a minor third, B to D is a minor third. And then we start stacking thirds to create 7th chords. You stack 3 thirds on top of each other, G to B to D to F sharp, and you get a 7th chord. Do the same thing on A, B, C, D. We wrote the major scale vertically instead of horizontally. And then we analyzed it. Is this a major third? So this scale was comprised of a major third, minor third, major third, and so on and so forth. And we ended up with G major, A minor 7, G major 7, A minor 7, B minor 7, C major 7, D 7, E minor 7, F sharp 7, and G major 7. And hey, here, you know what? Let me give you open chords versions of those, okay? I'm going to try, we can do this. Okay, so G major 7 could be played 3. That could be G major 7, okay? Oops. Share pictures, tabs, whatnot, Discord. We need a Discord server. Yeah, and I'm putting the work that AJ's doing, and he's not here today, but I haven't seen him yet. Maybe I missed him. I'm putting his work up on my Dropbox and then putting a link, and I'll just leave it up there. There's no reason to take it down. Putting a link on my Facebook page for this channel. So, okay. So that is a G major 7 chord. You can play it like this. Right, G7 is like this. If you move your first finger up, it's not great. You could also just play if you just want to do the top 4 strings. You could do this. And believe it or not, it's a G major 7. That is a drop 2 chord. This is a drop 2 chord. G major 7. This is A flat major 7. This is A major 7. This is B flat major 7. It's one of my favorite drop 2 chords. So, AJ's here. What? Oh, I missed it. Oh, there you are. Can we get those? Just stop it. No red exclamation. In fact, it's funny that those exclamation marks that Kathy's posting right there, it's 2 exclamation marks. I have, I don't want to say, what's it called when you like something makes your flesh crawl? It rubs you the wrong way. What's that? A pet peeve? I don't mind 1 exclamation mark. I don't mind 3 exclamation marks. I don't like 2 exclamation marks. So if you guys want to just tick me off, just end everything with 2 exclamation marks and I'll shut this down. Yeah, squirrel, exactly. So AJ, at the end of this, I'll tell you a couple fixes on your chart. I missed one from before. And then there was another one. So we can talk about those here. It's just faster than me typing it and doing screenshots and creating these emails that are like novels. Okay, so the 2 chord is A minor 7. A simple way, easy way we can play A minor 7 is, we've done it before. This is A minor 7. Verdi. Jumping in with the 2 exclamation marks. You're doing the same thing else. Yeah. Oh, I touched my face. Okay, now you can take a sip. Cheers, everyone. Take a double sip, but make one of them water if you can. All my friends tell me I have to drink more water. I never drink. I hate water. Tastes nasty. I hate water. One of my friends says, if you don't drink water, you'll die. And I'm like, I haven't had water in 5 years. So explain that. It's like I said, there's water in coffee, there's water in milk, there's water in Diet Coke, there's water in watermelon, and there's water in pineapple. I get plenty of water. So, okay. Yeah, you're right. You know, you're right, Kathy. The exclamation marks definitely get my attention. Okay, now yeah, that's better. Okay, so now the B minor 7, the one I would naturally do probably maybe would be a bar chord, and it looks like this. Okay, but I got a cheater for you that might or might not be easier. Yeah, Kathy, that would work too. But Pepper, that's your favorite one. You could do this, where I'm playing with 3 fingers. I'm kind of like an A chord exploded, separated. So I'm on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, the 3rd string, and the 1st string. So this could be a kind of a cheater B minor 7. This works. It literally is a B minor 7. Usually when I say it's a cheater chord, it's got notes in it that, okay? C major 7 is super easy. That's just X 3 2 0 0 0. That's C major 7, and that's our 4 chord. And that may be a new chord for you, but a beautiful chord. And I use this chord a lot in pop when I'm writing music for pop. In fact, I just did one. I'm writing for an artist, a big artist right now, but I can't say who it is. Sorry. So it's not Justin. I would tell you if it was. Well, I'm always writing for Justin, but right now the record just came out, so I'm not sending him anything. But this artist, I would love to get a track on this artist's record, her record. I'll give you a clue. It's a girl. But yeah, one of the songs I was doing, actually, I started with an F major 7 chord up here. So it was this chord moved up, which isn't a normal voicing, but I like this voicing for this moment in the song that I was. B7, no, Abba. B7, this is a side note, okay? B7 would be 2 1 2 open 2. That's B7. You wrote this. That's not B7. It's this. I think you meant this, actually. Ab, no comment. Okay, so in order to drink water, sip something sweet and then chug some water right away. Take a bite of something and chug some water right away. Yeah, I told you all about my Ebola story. Where I almost threw up on an airplane because I drank water really fast. And then if I threw up on that airplane, this is when it was going on, everybody would have thought I had Ebola and I would have got kicked off the plane. So yeah, okay, so you meant the right chord. Okay, but B7 is not one of the chords in this key. C7. Now D7 is a common chord. You probably have done this one. D7 is a very common chord. This D7 is very common. E minor 7, we can do 2 different ways. This is the 6th chord. So this is the 5 chord. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. E minor 7 we can do with 1 finger. So it'd be 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, whatever, however many, I don't know, 1,000 zeros. E minor 7. Okay, E minor 7. And then E minor, you could also do it this way. I would almost more like doing it this way. I like having the 7th up here instead of down here on the D string. See, here when we play it, that D is down there. Now, these chords aren't done in any way. We're going to build chords, and you'll actually have a better understanding of where the root, the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th is. That's the thing that I really wanted you to get out of that when we did the C major scale, to realize, oh, here's the 3rd. And AJ, that's one of the changes I want you to make on that chart, okay? When you wrote 10th above that, you wrote root, 5th, 7th, and you wrote 10th. That is correct, but I want you to change that to 3rd, okay? Because I want everybody to know where the root, 3rd, and 5th, and 7th are in each of these chords. Because that's really going to come into play when you start doing alterations. Like when you flat or sharp the 5, you know which note is the 5, and you can make that chord yourself. You may have never ever had anyone teach you a chord, but if you know how to change it yourself, you can make it up. So, okay. The F sharp we're going to get to. So E minors. Oh, the other E minor 7 that I want to show you would be 022 030. And the F sharp minor one's a little weird, but in some ways it's not crazy hard. Okay. And actually this is the one we're going to ultimately learn when we do the whole harmonization of the G major scale based on the bottom string. So we're going to have this one here now, and we're going to get it again when we finish our harmonization. So this one, F sharp minor 7 flat 5, is this 2x2210 F sharp minor 7 flat 5. I'm going to make it look all pretty. Okay. So it's kind of like an A minor chord, but with an F sharp in the bass. I love this chord though. It's a beautiful chord. It was great to B7. To E minor. That would be F sharp minor 7 flat 5. Oops. Minor 7 flat 5. Boy, it's hard to write. Flat 5 to B7, which was just up there. I just wrote it up there, not in the key of G, but it's a beautiful chord. To E minor. Oops. E minor. It's a beautiful chord progression. It's the 1, or it's the 2, 5, 1 in the key of E minor. E minor being the 1 if we were in the key of E minor. Very Spanish sound. But that's not the key of G. So that's called a squirrel. And we don't get to drink when I take a squirrel. You don't get to drink when I take a squirrel. The chord sheet. No, the chord sheet, it would be, I'm sorry, RJ, AJ, I'm sorry. AJ and I are going to do a little business here. It would be, instead of 10th, 3. So it would be root, 5th, 7th, and then this is the 3rd up there. So root, 5th, 7th, 3rd. Okay. The 10th is the 3rd. So you're substituting 3 for the 10th. Okay. I'm going to go back to electric guitar. I touched my ear. Does that count? We determined that me touching my ear counts. And AJ, I can also email you later that. Okay. And there was something else on that page that I missed before. So that's, I'm fix that. I touched my face. We all have to take a sip. No, Rick, I think what was determined yesterday, I had to refer to the referees on this one. But apparently I brushed my hair back and touched my ear, and that counts as touching the face. I think it was probably Verdi. You just want to take another drink of beer. So Verdi got a bad reputation on this channel. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, if you can, hey, Kathy, I saved those links in a folder right here, so I have them right here. Here's this. Oops. Can you go in there? Why can't I want to go in there? Oh, you know what? I have to open this and copy it. Okay, then copy. And I just have to paste. I was trying to drag it in here. So this is the this sheet. Okay, so we're gonna need one of these. Okay, we're gonna need one of these. So I'm gonna print one up right now. And we are not going to need one of these. This was, in fact, if you want to do a screenshot of yesterday's final lesson, here's all the 7th chords we did in the key of C on the 5th string. And you can see they're bar chords, but we can play, if you just play the middle 4 strings, some of them wouldn't have to be bar chords. And the other thing about these is that if you just play the middle 4 strings, you have all 4 notes in there. You have the root, the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th. You've got everything in right there. No, touching the glasses, no, sorry, because these are my computer glasses and they're really loose. If I was wearing one of my many other pairs, see, actually, these are pretty good, but they're just a little too strong on your writing over here. So I've got to print this thing up real quick. Let's see, so that I have one. And we're going to write a G scale on the bottom string. I think it's going to print. Is my printer on? Yeah. Why did that not print? I'm not a fan. Come on, printer. There we go. Okay. I'm not a fan of the latest Adobe PDF reader. It kind of is a little annoying. Okay. Oh, yeah, that was upside down. Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. I couldn't tell which side was up. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a G scale starting on we can use our first finger. Okay. Use our first finger, play G, bottom string, 3rd fret. Okay. Major scale, whole step. So go up to A, whole step, go up to B, half step, C, whole step, D, whole step, E, whole step, F sharp, and half step, G. Now, you could finish off with open E and then go to F sharp there if you want. If you're playing on acoustic and you can't, or classical and you can't get, it's not easy to play up here, then you can totally jump down an octave at that point. So the formula for whole, half, that's the formula. The notes, once again, were G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. That's what we just played. And I'm going to write that now on this. Yeah, I did hold it upside down. Now I realize that. Okay. So I just printed up one of these. I think I just put the link there to that. You can save that. I saved it, Kathy, so I have it in a folder now for times such as these. Also, I did also pull up this video if you want to see. I did a video on this guitar. It was part of my series on why so many guitars. So if you want to open this up and watch it later, feel free, where I talk about this guitar. And so now I'm going to write that. We'll probably we might do everything except the triad one. The triad one is not as fun as on the 5th string. But here's you know what? I'm going to use my number 2 pen. Okay, bottom string, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 8th fret, 10th fret, 12, 14, 15. And this is a G major scale here. I'm going to write here G major. Or if you want to, Ionian, G Ionian. But there's if you have this piece of paper, you can draw your own diagrams. You don't have to print it up if you can't. You can totally do this. But that's just the G major scale on the bottom on the low string. Okay, and that's what we're going to build on. All right. So now, oh, no worries, Kathy. So now what we want to do is we want to go up a 3rd. So we're going to take that scale and we're going to go up a 3rd. So the 3rd of G is B, G, A, B, right? 1, 2, 3. But we're going to put the B down here. And so now we're going to start the G scale on B. And so after B was C, D, E, up a whole step, F sharp, G, A, and B. So essentially what we just played, flashing back to our modes lessons, which again, I think start on daily video number 13, is if you want to learn about modes, we talked about that. But basically what I just played there was in a B Phrygian scale. Which is an interesting scale because it starts with a half step. Okay, that's not necessary to know. Okay, there's no quiz on that at the end of the week. Okay. I had a band in high school called End of the Week Quiz, though. Okay, so now we are but we are going to play that scale and the G scale at the same time. Essentially, we're going up a third from each of these G scale tones. Okay, so we have G and B. That's our major third. Yeah, you caught me. Hey, Pepe's back. Buongiorno. Buongiorno, Pepe. I got to take a sip. If you're just joining us, we have a drinking game with 4 rules. The main rule is if I touch my face, we all have to take a sip. It doesn't count glasses or hair, though. Hair and glasses are not my face. Let's see, if I say I had a band in high school called, and then fill in the blank, then you have to take a drink. If I refer to myself in the third person, which really doesn't, I only do that so that you guys can take a drink, because I never really do that. Tom never does that. And then the fourth one is if I don't realize I have a guitar in a different tuning. So, yeah, you're going to have to go. Yeah, those chords, you like those chords, aren't they great? Okay, so now we're going to harmonize the third. Now we're going to have 2 thirds, just like we did when we did this, all this work here. We had 2 kinds of thirds, a major third and a minor third. So the major third shape is this. G to B is first. I would use my first finger. We're going to keep our first finger on the 5th string. Our second finger in this case is going to be on the bottom string. So we're going to 3rd fret, 2nd fret. Okay. Then we go up to A, and we're going to do a minor third. So this is a major third. Sorry. Then A is going to be 5th fret on the bottom and 3rd fret on the 5th string. Then go up 2 more frets, just move that up, and that's the B minor. That's a B and a minor third. So B and D. So we're at the 7th and 5th. Then we go to the 8th and 7th. This is exactly mirroring the thing we did in C, but we're down 1 string, okay? So here's the 4 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, and look, it's major, like you predicted. C, E, okay? And then here we are at the 10th fret and the 9th fret, we have the D and the F sharp, and that's a major third. And we go to E at the 12th fret, and then go down up to, we have a fret in between, and that's E, and then G on the 5th string. So we're at the 12th fret and the 10th fret. Then just slide that up 2 more, and we get the F sharp and the A, also a minor third. And then we go up and make the tighter scale, and that's G and B. So I'm at the 15th and the 14th. Now, if you're on a classical guitar, you can do that. You could also, the F sharp one, you could play F sharp and open A. So that sounds like this. And you can totally hear the tonality. You can hear the scale. You can hear the tonality, the major, minor. And if you want, you can practice this. I like, thirds are great. It's like, I might find some use for that, but it's a little low. It's a little muddy for soloing. But basically, that's what we want to do. So I'm going to write that out so you can have that. And then you guys are so friendly to each other. And then I'm going to draw the loops that look so awful, but we're going to do it anyway. So I'm writing the G scale out again. So just copy what you did before. Like thus. Okay, so that's the same as above. And now I'm going to do the thirds. So below the G, it was right here. The third of G was right there. The third of the A was down a fret. The third of B was down here. And so basically what I end up doing, there's the C note and there's the E note. Here's the D note and here's an F sharp. These are all thirds above these notes. Minor and major thirds. And then the last 2 are like this. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my skinny pen and I'm going to loop them so you can see. Because right now it just looks like a bunch of stacked fourths, and they really don't belong together that way. They belong together diagonally. So it's okay. Yeah, we're doing pretty good time wise. I think what I may do I don't know. AJ did a much better diagram than I did on this. We're almost done with. So you can download that off my Facebook page. I'll post it as soon as we're done editing it. But basically, those are the thirds. So that's a G major scale harmonized in thirds. So let's say, for example, the melody of your song goes, okay, and that's what you're singing. Da, 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 da. Well, if you want to do a very simple harmony to it, you could have the other person go da, 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 and it would sound like this. Or if it was, it would be. I'm just harmonizing up a third from the melody note. Okay. Let's see. Oh, what's okay? Parallel, Tom. You still need to sip. Oh, sorry. Let's see. Oh, well, that's another progression. Yep. But the one I did was David. But the one I did was F sharp minor 7 flat 5 to B7 to E minor. If you want to do an E minor second, it's a fun, beautiful chord. If you don't know this one, it's a beautiful chord. Dirty pot. Okay, so one of the reasons I don't really use this guitar very much is because these are technically single coil pickups. They're called soap bars because they look like a soap bar. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's very buzzy. So for records and, it's just not usable. The only time it's not noisy is if it's in the middle position. So this position sounds good. I actually was messing around with it today because I'm working on music today for I have a lot of music on. I do a lot of music for Street Outlaws and a bunch of shows on Discovery Channel. I don't know if you've ever seen Street Outlaws, but it's basically about car racing. And so guitar is a big guitar music is a big factor in their shows. So I do a lot of music for them. And all the spinoffs from any spinoffs from the spinoffs from Street Outlaws. Let's see. Let's see. What song are we talking about? I see you guys all talking about a song. What did I miss something? I missed something. You guys should just start another chat room. You don't need me. Let's see, because you're talking about a chord progression. The verses were 4-3, 4-3, and the chorus went 4-7, 4-7, 5-2, 2-5. All sevens, of course. Put a little love in your heart. Oh, okay. Is that the song, really? I missed that. So, or Gator Hunters. I don't write for Gator Hunters. That's a show? Sounds like a show I would write for, though. Oh, okay. I guess it was Put a Little Love in Your Heart was a song. Yeah, it's a great song. So now what we're going to do, we're going to take that third and we're going to go up an octave. Okay. And with that, we're going to create, in fact, it's the kind of the chord shape I used for that song Home to Mama that Justin Bieber. What was it? I can't remember now. Yeah. Kind of. It's kind of the chord progression I used to build that song. So what we're going to do is the top. So if you want to see this again, okay, the top note. Oh, can't talk to Jim right now. I thought my phone was off. The top note was the B and the C and the D. Remember, we did basically a B Phrygian scale on top of a G major scale. But now we're going to take all the notes we played on the G. On the A string, and we're going to move them up to the G string, and we're going to come up with two different. So we're going to remember we called that tenths. So just so you know, that's a third. 1, 2, 3. Okay. But if I count up 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I get another B, and that's also a third. And that's much wider. See, this is a little muddy, a little hard to hear, but this is nice. It's beautiful, separated. Okay, so we're gonna harmonize this G scale, but we're gonna do the basically the B Phrygian scale, or you can think of it as a G scale starting on B. We're gonna do that on the G string. Okay. So the way I'm fingering it, I'm basically, this is just, for me, this feels natural. I'm putting my first finger on the G note on the bottom string, 3rd fret. And then I'm putting my third finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string, which is the G string, and that's a B note. So we have a G and a B, root and 3rd. Okay, and really the 3rd finger is never going to leave this string. We're going to use the 3rd finger for every one of these notes. It's really cool sounding. I love the sound of tenths. It's just it's a great tool to write with, I feel like. I can even apply like an E7 or an E chord. Okay. There was a song, you guys, you know that like Blackbird is kind of based on tenths. He kind of gets that G string ringing out. But there's also a song by, I forget the name of the song, but it's by the band Muse. What is it? Something like that. It's a really beautiful song. Hopefully I won't get snagged for stealing, for copyright infringement. It drives me crazy. It's literally for teaching purposes, but I understand the definition of fair use is in the classroom, and technically I'm broadcasting. So fair use doesn't apply to this situation. And I agree with that. I totally agree with that, because in a classroom, you're dealing with a very limited number of people. But in this situation, there are people that have, thousands and thousands of viewers when they're doing a live stream. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do 3rd fret and 4th fret. And then the A minor is going to be both on the 5th fret. And again, we're going to be staying on the same 2 strings. So 5th, bottom string and 3rd string. Then take that up 2 frets, exact same shape as the B minor. Okay. And then we're going to go back to my first finger on the C. So we're at the 8th fret and then 9th fret on top. Okay. And then slide that up 2 frets, because this is the 4 chord. The 5 chord is also major, so it's going to be the same. So I'm at 10 and 11. Then I go up to the 12 and 12, and that's our E minor. And then we have 14 and 14, or 2 and 2. And that's the start of our F sharp minor 7 flat 5, but we don't have a 5 in there. So that's why it's not any different than a minor chord. Right now we're just dealing with basically a dyad, a 2-note chord. And then back to the 1. So again, here's G, 3rd fret, 3rd, 3 and 4. I'm just going to tell you the fret numbers for the 2 fingers, because I don't need to tell you the strings because they don't change. 3, 4, 5, 5, 7, 7. Okay. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12, 14, 14, and 15, 16, or 2, 2, and that's the 5th up there. We're actually not going to use that 5th. We're going to use this one down here. So we're going to end up doing. We're not going to get to those chords today. We'll do those tomorrow. I'm going to spread this lesson out. I'm going to make it a 2-day lesson. And then, let's see. So I'm going to write that out. And I think we'll stop there. We'll do the 5ths, the root and the 5th, and then the root 3rd and 5th, the triads, and the root 3rd, 5th, 7th. We'll do those 3 tomorrow. Okay. All right. So Where's my pen? Come on. You saw that. So again, I'm going to write the G major scale right down here. All right. Just like I did at the top, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Okay. So basically the same as the top. But now I'm going to take what we did here, the third, I'm going to put those thirds, in this case, the B, C, D, E, F, so on, F sharp, so far, so forth, so never mind. We're going to knock those up an octave. So it's going to look like this. Yeah. And I could also do this here. And I'll take my skinny pen and I'm going to circle those so it's a little bit easier to see. Starting to lose people. I will be here Sunday morning, Easter morning. So if you guys are up for it, I'll just consistently be here. But maybe if the viewership is low on Sunday, which I totally understand if you've got family things happening, I may not push forward too much of the lesson, or I may just go completely off topic. Okay. But I want to kind of keep doing this every day. So so these are thirds. $11, same as every day, Max. Is that Max? These are thirds, and these are tenths. Okay. So those intervals down there are thirds, and the ones below the bottom one, those are tenth intervals. The ones I were playing that were really wide and kind of pretty and good for songwriting. Okay. So, and this lesson was because of AJ when he did. I was asking you guys to do some homework or to kind of be creative about coming up with different ways of digging deeper in this and learning it and having a deeper understanding of chord theory and everything. I said, go ahead and do this in G. And he did it. He sent me the paper. He did it in G, but I wasn't clear. I didn't say G major. And so he did it based on G in the key of C, which was G mixolydian. And what he came up with was actually 100% correct. In the key of G, the one chord is major. I'm sorry. In the key of G mixolydian, the one chord is major. The two chord is minor. The three chord is a minor 7 flat 5. The 4 chord is major, but the 5 chord is minor because everything's all mixed up. Everything's in a different. Yes, we'll call Sunday will be Squirrel Day. Yeah, we can do Q&A on Sunday, on family distancing Sunday. On my Facebook page I said, isn't social distancing and anti-social distancing the exact same thing? So I definitely think that, I want to keep consistent on this because I think we're building something here, and it's a really good resource I think it's a good resource. The funny thing is that I am getting views of older videos. Like people are going back and watching. So it's not like I'm only getting the views of you people watching live, you little people watching live. Yesterday when I was on Walter's watching my friend Walter do his live stream, when I say 11 a.m., 11 my time a.m., which is Pacific Standard Time, that would be 2 o'clock p.m. on the East Coast. That would be Michigan. Are you, Kathy, are you on East Coast time? I think you are. Yeah, you're not Central Time. Indiana used to go back and forth. I'll tell you a story. Diane, you want a story? I'll tell you a story. Diane always wants a story. I'll give her a story. And then London, it'd be 7 a.m., something like that. So anyway, so we're going to do that. Okay, Diane, you want a story, right? It's not a great story, but so I grew up in Indiana for the most part. Less than 16 has 600 views. I know, but it's weird because I don't know what views mean, because like when I turn this off, it says the average watch time was 7 minutes. That means there are a lot of people. You guys are watching for like 120 minutes, but then there are people that get on for like 0.1 minute, so then it averages out to 7 minutes. So I'm not sure how it works. Yeah. And the great thing about it, if you don't catch it live, you get everything still later. I'm posting everything. And what I'm doing is I'm putting the name, what we're talking about in the name in all caps. So modes, chord theory, circle of fifths, cage method. Also, I'm putting them in playlists. And then on some of them, I've done tags. Somebody mentioned I should do tags. So I'm going ahead and doing that. I haven't done tags yet for chord theory. I got to do that. So we'll do tags for that. Where is Sheila now? She's at home with her husband. Yeah, she's not on the road. She can't. All of her. She tours with Dweezil Zappa and also the lead singer for Men at Work. So she gets to play all those fun sax parts. Who can it be now and all that. So she gets to do all that fun stuff. Yeah, you're right. Or they disconnect from stream. You're right. I figured that's the case too. So that's why I get some. The numbers are kind of big, pretty big. I mean, it'll say 300 or 400 or 500 after I close this. And the peak number I've seen so far is 45 is the highest I've seen, but usually it's higher than the highest I've seen. I don't think I've ever yet caught the high. So that 45 is pretty good because yesterday wasn't as high. Also, Dan, thank you for the donation. That showed up. I see that. So that, you guys don't have to do that. I saw that you guys are shopping on the Amazon links in my video descriptions. Like I said, you don't have to buy anything that I'm suggesting, like a guitar pick or a string or a stand or whatever. But if you click on that link and then go on and do your normal shopping, then Amazon gives me a piece of it as if I recommended that stuff. So that's pretty darn cool. And like I said, that helps. I'll make anywhere from $15 to $80 a month from that, which is kind of cool. So it's really just for copy and pasting a bunch of links. Let's see. Are you guys somebody taking off? Oh, so you're in Central. Yeah, I knew you were in South Central Michigan. You're Eastern time zone. So maybe Sunday I'll do mostly just Q&A kind of stuff. And then as far as you guys are great TV. Thanks, Walter. So here's my story. I can tell you I had just moved to California from Indiana, grew up in Indiana. And in Indiana, when I grew up, it was very odd because we would not change our clocks. We never changed our clocks. So when the spring forward and fall back thing happens, Indiana would just stay the same. And you really wouldn't, because we didn't change our clocks, nothing would change except the TV schedule. So prime time, which for us in the winter would have been on TV from 8 to 11 p.m. like it is on the East Coast. Then in the summer, when everybody changes their clocks, our prime time would be from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. So all the TV shows would move up an hour. Other than that, you really, because back then, we're talking in the 60s and 70s, you're not doing a lot of interstate phone calls and interstate, there was no emailing, there was no, online work or anything like that. So you're not really aware of anybody else but you. And especially when you're, 10, 11, 12, 14 years old or whatever, you're not aware of it. So flash forward to 1983 when I moved to Los Angeles in January. And first thing I did when I got to LA is try to find a job. And I got a job at a place called Warehouse Records. And they were a record store. This is before CDs were even a thing. So they sold cassettes, albums, and they also rented videos like a VHS and Betamax. I think we had both. Okay. See you, Roger. Probably already left. So, hey, Rich Farr, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Rich is an old student of mine. Now, I don't mean old. I mean like a long time ago, Rich. And Rich is an amazing runner and athlete and engineer. So I'm at work. I mean, I'm working at this record store, and I get the job pretty much right away. I'd saved up some money to come to LA, but I didn't want to burn through my savings. So that's why I got a job right away, even though it wasn't in the music business per se. It was ancillary. It was music adjacent. And so I was working, and then that day in the spring, whenever it was, probably March or April for sure, where the clocks moved forward, right? Spring forward, fall back. So you lose an hour, right? You're losing an hour. I had no idea. So like we're supposed to show up at work at 9:30 or whatever. I roll around at 10:30. And I walk in, they go, "You're an hour late." I said, "No, I'm not." I'm looking at my watch. It's like 9:30. What do you mean I'm an hour late? And they go, "It's 10:30. Really? My watch is what? No, last night you have to set your clocks back. I'd never heard that before. I'd never heard of moving a clock. We never did that in Indiana. And so we're one of the few states, and there's still states that now Indiana just stays on Eastern time zone. But that's a recent development. That was like 10 years ago. This was back in, when I was growing up, that I didn't know what changing the clock meant. I've never had to change a clock, a watch, anything. So I'm like, I think they're lying to me. I think they're all punking me. And they're like, they can't believe I'm so stupid that I didn't know how to change my clock and I didn't do it. And I'm like, no, and so I almost got fired. And finally, thank God, one of the girls that worked there said, "Well, I think I heard," because there's no Google. It's not like they can go, oh yeah, Indiana. No, how would you figure that out? Who would know that? You'd have to go to like an atlas maybe. And even an atlas wouldn't have time. I don't know how you would know that. I don't know how I convinced them. I didn't lose the job. I ended up quitting the job for a completely unrelated reason. But that was a while later, and it was a fun group of people to work with, but I just had to quit for another reason. But anyway, yeah, it was very surreal to be so. It's actually a great example of you could use it as an example of, and I don't mean to get theological here. I know there's some people here that are not through, but there's something called the Synoptic Gospels. Basically, there's 4 Gospels in the New Testament, and the 4 Gospels are basically telling the same story from not only 4 different perspectives, because you got 4 different people, but 4 different personalities and 4 different professions. Because Luke was a doctor and a lawyer, and Matthew was a tax collector, and correct me if I'm wrong, but John was a fisherman, I think, and whatever. So you have all these different perspectives, and it's like I was so convinced that they were wrong, and they were so convinced that I was wrong, but we were both right, and it was just like crazy. Yeah, you got to change the clock too. Yeah, you change the clock see, Dennis is in Holland, so they do it too, and I don't know. It's weird too, because Dennis, you may know this, but like there are time zones in Asia and in the Middle East and maybe Africa, but I know in Middle East and Asia and maybe part of Russia that are actually a half hour off. Can you imagine being a half hour off? And there could be some, Hook, this is nothing to learn because this is like old news now because Indiana changes their clocks. But anyway, yeah, I agree, Jim. I think daylight savings time should be done away with. I'm shocked it hasn't been. It was basically for farmers. And India, you're right. India has time zones that are half hour off. And like, why would you do that? I don't understand. And teenage world. Yeah, let's see. So anyway, that's my story about working at Warehouse Records that doesn't exist anymore. Well, what record store does really? Oh, Dan, stop it. God bless you. I appreciate it. It all helps. I'm putting it to good use. I'm paying my mortgage. Oh yeah, Newfoundland is a half hour off. Yeah, I think I read that somewhere. Do you live in Newfoundland, Peter? Does anybody live in a time zone here that is a half hour off than the rest of the world, or most of the rest of the world? That would be. I mean, I don't know that it would really play out. I don't think it really matters. And daylight savings time is something that is done in the U.S., but apparently other countries do it too. Because Dennis, you're in. I say Holland just because I can't say the Netherlands without feeling like I'm tripping over my tongue. I apologize. You prefer the Netherlands, I'm sure. And I know Holland is a part of the Netherlands or something. We were just there about a year and a half ago and loved it. We were in Amsterdam. We went out with some friends that are both attorneys at The Hague. So we went to the Hague and we went to Harlem to go to the oh dang it, I can't remember the name of the museum we went there, but it was the woman that hid all the Holland's fine. Thank you, Dennis. I appreciate that. I just don't want to, any plans of getting a new guitar sometime? Yes, I'm probably going to be getting a bunch of stuff, especially once we are unquarantined. I want to spend some money. And because I want to help people, I want to, help the economy and all that. So I'm probably going to order some guitars, mostly weird stuff. Yeah, pay for the pizza. I've been tipping pretty big on when I order out. Sometimes 100% tip, just because. Yeah, the Anne Frank Museum we did in. Hold on, I'll look it up. The Anne Frank Museum we did. Our hotel was right like 5 doors down from the Anne Frank Museum, and that was insanely powerful. I didn't expect that, and the Van Gogh Museum. The Van Gogh Museum, both of them made me cry. Literally standing there in the museum crying, and I'm like, but it was weird because it wasn't like a build up to a cry. It was like the last point took me to a place. Took me to a place where I just lost it. Like it just came out of nowhere. But where we went to in Harlem, the museum we went there was shoot. I got to do it in Google Maps because I have all the places we went all bookmarked and everything, so I can find them easy. Harlem, yeah. So that was like a 20-minute train ride, which was so awesome. Riding the trains past all of the the Corrie ten Boom Museum, Corrie ten Boom. So if you don't know about her, she's an amazing lady, Ten Boom. You were at the Hague for Jazz Fest, and James Brown checked in. This wild entourage. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, the Hague was gorgeous, and we got kind of an insider's tour of it because the two friends we have that are both attorneys there, and they were a young couple that we met in Barcelona the year before, and Beth and I part of the reason I chose to go to Amsterdam a couple of years ago was because I thought, maybe we can have dinner with them again. And they're a younger couple. They're like in their early 30s, and we just really hit it off in Barcelona. And I thought, well, we should go to dinner again, but who knows if it. And we ended up sitting at dinner for 6 hours talking. It was crazy. We're like, Beth and I were a little worried. We're like, we're pretty old, and I don't know if we're gonna have anything to talk about. And we just had a great time. And the owner of the restaurant came out, and we did one of those. We did the menu where it just basically let the chef bring you whatever. It was a French restaurant. And they had wine pairings. A good thing we didn't drive, but every course had a different wine with it. It was so amazing. It was like one of the best meals I ever had. And it also because the company was so great. So see ya, Edmar. Thank you. Thanks so much for watching. Saskatchewan, Erasmus. Is that where you are, Saskatchewan? Let's see. Hey, Pharma Bubba. Farman Baba John. Do I know who you are? So guitar-wise, what I'm going to buy? Somebody asked me, am I going to buy something? Actually, probably. Well, for one thing, I may need to get a new Strat because my Strat is with my main Strat, and one of my ukuleles is at my Guitar Tech's, and he's not an essential business, I guess. I wish he worked at home, but it's a separate building. So he's had my guitars for about 4 weeks now, and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to see them for a while. So that's kind of a bummer. But no, I probably won't replace that Strat because I'm having it refretted right now for the 3rd or 4th time. I really wear out the frets on that Strat. I take all my anger out on my guitars, not my wife. It's all my anger and frustration get taken out on my guitars. A Dan Electro is the U2 is great. You saw mine. It's a fun guitar and they're not very expensive. And a Fender Tele with lipstick. Yeah. So your next purchase, David, is going to be a guitar with lipstick pickups. They're noisy. Just know that. But you know, if you're going through Pro Tools or something like that, you can always put a noise gate. I've always got the noise gate on when I'm using guitars like that. The telly I have up there, the baritone. And yes, I'm wearing pants. This has 2 lipsticks and then a humbucker. And I love the sound of the lipsticks. It's very hollow and glassy sounding. But the reason I have this guitar is to kind of do that hard rock thing. In fact, I'm going to be using it today. I've got to write some more music for Street Outlaws. And so this is going to come in handy. Let me pull up a rock sound. Yeah, it's close enough. All right. So, for example, I might, and I've toyed with the idea of string. Okay, so here's somebody asked me to do this, and I might do this one of our days that we're filming. Let's see. Let me just pull up like a big rock sound. I got so many different sounds saved. Maybe something like this. So you can I don't know, David, if you can hear that buzz. A baritone guitar is tuned down. Well, I tune mine. They're generally tuned down a 4th, so the bottom is a B. So it's great for like metal stuff. If you want to do something really heavy, it sounds great. I'm going to actually go with like my really wide metal sound here. Let me pull that one up because I like this one. It's pretty insane, but. I just love, it's great for getting that car, it's great for car shows, you can get some really cool sounds with it. And so it's down a 4th. So it's basically B, E, A, D, right? F sharp, B. Yeah, I think that's right. So really, I don't really have, the nice thing is it's tuned ultimately the same as a guitar as far as intervals go. I don't really have to think that I'm playing a different instrument. But when I'm in the studio and I'm using a baritone, I have to transpose usually. And that can be kind of a headache because you forget. But this is like a D chord right here. And if I want, I can do a drop D tuning, which would really be drop A. So let me pull up a tuner. Let me just clip on a tuner. So if I tune the low B string down to A, I can get a really nice, rich sound. And I still haven't told you what kind of guitars I'm thinking of getting. It's really cool sounding. So this is a lot of fun to have, but I'm really most of the time using this pickup because these are just too dang noisy for studio work. These sound better on a clean sound. Like if I pull up like this sound and go, and again, this is a great sound even with a drop D. To do kind of a Wild West kind of vibe, I just have to remember what key I'm in, but I have toyed around with maybe doing. So one of the things I thought I could do for this live stream, if I start running out of ideas teaching, although I don't think that's ever possible, would be to just put my laptop over here and aim it at me, and I work on a song for a TV show or something like that. I write a song, and you can watch me do that. I don't think it's really going to be an issue. I could take the video down maybe once I submit the song, because once we submit the songs to the production company, then they'll register them, and in the process of registering them, it might go, the registration might be worldwide through YouTube and everything like that. See you later, Erasmus. And can you recommend a place for a guitar set? Well, I mean, I use Norik Renson. You can look him up, but like I said, right now everybody's kind of closed. He's in. You can look him up. He's got, I think, got a website. Phone. He didn't answer his phone when I called the other day. So he works for a lot of the big guys in town. I think Tim Pierce goes to him, and but he's in Studio City, basically North Hollywood. It's just he's on Moore Park, just south of Ventura Boulevard. That doesn't mean anything to most of you. So, but anyway, it's. But you might, and the other thing is, if I wrote a song and record the version that I would be doing while you were watching me wouldn't really be that close to the final version. So I don't think I would ever get a takedown notice on it, because when I'm done with it, I send it to another guy and he does stuff to it and then he submits it. But the things I'm thinking about getting, I need to get, I need more ethnic instruments. I would love to get a decent charango. I've been using charango a lot, which is I think a Peruvian or Bolivian instrument. It's basically 5 courses, a 10-string instrument. In charango is tuned to like an A minor 7 chord. And I really, really get a lot of use out of it. It's a really good sound. It's like a really tight classical. It's like a nylon strings. It's got a bright, tight sound. It sounds great. Yeah, it's hard not to sound like Metallica when you're playing in drop D minor, And then the other things I want to get, there's a Baroque guitar, which is or a Quattro, which is a kind of a Spanish guitar. I think Quattros are maybe from, I'm not sure I don't think Walter's still here, but Walter's from Puerto Rico. I think Quattros may be from Puerto Rico, or they may be Mexican, or they may be from South America. I'm not really sure. But a Quattro is kind of like a smaller guitar. It has a bright sound. So a lot of some bright instruments. I would love to get a decent mandolin. My mandolin that I use all the time, in fact, I just used it yesterday on a commercial, is a $300 Fender mandolin. The problem is good mandolins are like starting $5,000. I've never spent $5,000. Yeah, Trace Quattro. That's right. That's the name. I actually watched a video about Trace Quattro, a guy turning a baby Taylor into one. He has a kit, and I think the kit's like $200. It's kind of expensive considering it's really like creates a trapeze thing and a new nut. That's it's 3 strings. It's 3 pairs of strings, so it's 6 strings still. So you use all the tuners, but then it's like and it has a different saddle down here. But he said that it's a better quality and better sounding Trace Quattro than any Trace Quattro you can find, because most of them are just made really, really cheap. It is Puerto Rico. Okay. Yeah. So. You're right. The Lore mandolin, even the cheapest one, is better than my Fender mandolin. I could probably do something like that, but I would love to get a Gibson mandolin, not a vintage one, just like a Gibson one. But the thing about mandolins, like the good ones, see, the reason it's hard to find really old flat top guitars is because the tops eventually dry out and collapse and crash. You've got flat top classical guitars can go all the way back to the early 1800s. But so many of them don't exist anymore. Whereas violins are carved out of a piece of maple. The top can be maple. It's this thick, and they're hand shaved, and that is far sturdier than very thin pieces of wood with bracing. So mandolins are made the same way violins are. Good mandolins are made the same way violins are. Cheap mandolin like mine is usually it's got its shape because they got the wood wet and then they put it on a mold and they let it dry there and they baked it or whatever, and it just stayed that way. But good mandolins are actually carved out of a piece of wood that's pretty thick. So that alone is expensive to have a good piece of wood that's that thick. And then and then it's hand carved usually and tuned, and guys, you know what they're doing. So yeah, you're saying a Tres Quattro is 10 strings. Yeah, maybe I'm thinking of a different instrument that I saw that the guy had kind of replicated on a Baby Taylor, but it was a pretty cool video. And I was like, dang, that does sound really good. I need more ethnic instruments like that. I'm not going to get a real sitar. I should bring out my Schwarmendal Tanpura some for it. That thing's pretty crazy. I'm not planning. Just sitar just takes up too much space, and it's a real hard. I mean, it's pretty hard to learn that thing. So I'm not going to go there. But anything with frets, I'm probably more likely. I would like to get my ukulele is at Norick getting. So I have two guitars being worked on right now. One, I'm getting new frets put in it. Okay, so they're putting in. He's replacing my frets because I wear them out and I wait too long, and then the tuning and they got pits and everything. So he's replacing that. But then I have a ukulele. It's kind of an extra ukulele that I bought recently, and I'm having him take the frets out and filling it so that I can have. And I've already got the strings for it. I'm going to have, instead of the bottoms of the 4 strings being an octave up, I'm going to have it just standard. So it's going to be 4 strings low to high like that. And that way I'll be able to get kind of an oud sound out of it. If not, it doesn't have to sound like an oud. It just needs to sound weird. So anything fretless, I'm really getting into, because recently I worked for Austin Wintory and did some really, well, actually I've done 3 oud sessions in the last 2 months. So, and anytime, in fact, in 2 of them, I said, send me the music, send me some examples of the music in advance. And let me see if they're too hard for me. If I can't play it, I'm going to give you this guy's number. And I played them and sent them what I did. And I said, is this good enough? They said, that sounds great. So they're my guys that I work for, and they really want, I think they would prefer to work with me anyway. But I've got a guy that I can recommend it if they need a real legit oud player, and that's not me. However, most of the time, you only need to fool 99.5% of the people if you're doing music for TV or for games or for movies. Because the music is oftentimes way below, motorcycle crashes or dialogue or whatever. They're constantly moving the music way down. So a lot of it, the playing doesn't need to be too legit. In fact, they don't even really want legit, because with oud, the thing I'm fascinated. In fact, this was the conversation I had with Rick Beato at the NAMM show. Was I said, yeah, do you know anything about oud? I said, do you know there's notation in Middle Eastern music for 54 notes per octave. We only have 12, right? We did the chromatic. You do the chromatic thing. Oh, we need to do finger warm-ups. But we do chromatic. We only have 12 notes. That's crazy. In Middle Eastern music, they have notation. They have actually symbology. Symbology is what I want, I think, right? For I need a fretless bass too. So I'm going to get a fretless bass too. That's on my list. So there's a lot of instruments I want to get a fretless. Also, that is, oh, not that one. I have another. So Pee-wee, who plays bass at my church, we talked about him yesterday. Walter did. He sold me 2 more Squires for $150. And I took, Puerto Rican Quattro is different than Tres Quattro, isn't it? Yes, it is very, very, very similar to a lute. The one I think I saw, maybe a Tres Quattro, which means maybe 3 strings, 3 pairs of strings. But Pee-wee sold me two Squires. One is that white one up there, that cream one. Actually, I really like the white pickguard on the cream paint. It looks so good. I mean, that's a Hendrix thing. It just looks great. And so I like the sound of it. I've actually used it on a couple records recently. And one of the artists that I was talking about earlier that I can't talk about, that I'm writing for right now, I used it on one of her tracks. And then he sold me another one that's another black one, but it has a humbucker. And I thought I might, after Norick gets back to work at the guitar repair place, I might take that to him and have him make that fretless. I'm not real anxious to have a fretless electric because I'm a little concerned sliding up and down the first string that I might cut my finger. So I'm going to go with really heavy strings on that, maybe 12s. So I might have to adjust, Norick might have to adjust the tremolo on it or lock it so it doesn't move at all. Although that might be kind of cool too, to have a tremolo on a fretless electric. But the nice thing about having the humbucker is I can really wait a minute. What if we guess, can you say yes or no? Oh, well, yeah. The only thing is I'm not superstitious, but I don't want to jinx it. I don't want anybody going, hey, Tom's writing for so-and-so, because I'm not. I'm writing for a team that works with the artist, and potentially, I could get something on the record, but nothing's. So I kind of don't want to jinx it, but you know, I'll tell you if I do. I'm not going to hide the fact if I get a song on a record. So it would be great. But and I'm still trying to get I'm trying to sign a publishing deal with somebody. I can't say who, not an artist, but a major company. And it's really weird because I had a great meeting with them, and then all sorts of things have been happening, so that it's like I need a contract so I can sign stuff and get the thing rolling. I'm still making money off of music. But one of the ways music makes money is there's performance royalties, and that I'm going to see. And then there's mechanical royalties, which are actual sales, but that's not just from CDs. Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, all of those streaming companies, there's 200 or so of them, and including YouTube, and all of them have to pay. Yes, it's Kathy Bates is doing a record, and I'm writing music for Kathy Bates. And she liked me because she thought I looked like a distant relative. So all of those streaming companies, they all pay mechanical and performance royalties. So although the U.S. mechanicals come to me, but I cannot collect foreign mechanicals. I have to have an administrator. So I'm signing I'm in the process of signing an administration deal with a big publisher, so that they can collect those royalties, and they take basically 15%. But it's 15% of money I couldn't get to myself. Not only that, they will find money that I didn't know was there. So it's worth it to sign with them. A standard sub-publishing deal is typically 50%. That would be more of a situation where, and this company does not do sub-publishing deals. They do admin deals only. But the sub-publishing deal would be if you want to have them connect you with artists, because they're making half of the money. They're making half of your publishing, so that's why they do that. Yeah, and you got to have a guitar. You got to have a couple guitars with. Oh yeah, I've been watching a lot of videos about fretless guitar, so I'm looking forward to having one, and hopefully Nora can do that. What he's gonna do on the ukulele, he's gonna take out the frets and then fill them with a light colored, because the fretboard is dark. He's gonna fill it with a light color so I can still see the frets, or he may even cut them and then leave the metal in there and then sand it so it's very smooth and I don't cut my finger on it. But basically, the idea is to have that sound. And I'm not worried about the ukulele because it has nylon strings, so I'm not worried about cutting my fingers. But with these steel strings, I'm worried about sliding my finger up and slicing my finger in half, which has happened before. So oud is also nylon strings, so it's not going to have that issue. But anyway, so I'm interested in doing not a sub-publishing deal, because I don't need to be connected with artists. I'm already connected with artists, so I don't need that help. And then the other thing was, when I had the meeting, they said, well, do you want an advance? I said, I don't need an advance. And they go, well, this will make it super easy. So I was expecting to get a contract the next week. And then all sorts of things have happened. And now it's been 2.5 months. And I'm kind of like, I kind of want to get it moving on. So I may have to go to someone else and go to a different publisher or someone different in the office. But I hate to do it. Jim, I'll see you later. Let's see. Yeah, the electric oud, I might pick up one of those too. I can kind of get a decent price on Godin, and they make an electric oud, but it's still a little bit more for something that I probably wouldn't use very often. But I might go for the electric oud if I don't like how the Strat, the Squire turns out. If it doesn't turn out right, I'm not really taking much of a chance with it. But hey, Stephen Ashby from Pittsburgh, you're late. Where have you been? Oh, YouTube takes 30% from the donations. I didn't know that. And that's how they make money. And I'm fine with YouTube making money off of me, because I'm making money off of them. I always say, when I talk to people in the business, I say, look, if powerful people are making money off of you in this business, you're going to be fine, because they're going to want to keep you working. So if Justin makes a lot of money off the songs I write for him, then he's going to want to keep me writing songs for him. So, that's, if the people I work for are making a lot of money off of my guitar playing and I'm getting paid well in the process, then I'm fine with that. So, can I put a pick up from me and the new guitar somewhere for you? Dennis, yeah, if you try to post it on my Facebook page, the Facebook page for my YouTube channel, which I'll post right now. I'm gonna have to go get it though. Hold on a second. And then I will. So this is it here. Copy. I think I probably have to approve it. It may not post unless I approve it. And hopefully nobody said anything weird there. Kathy Bates might trigger inappropriate. This video is not appropriate for most advertisers is what the warning said. And I'm like, really? Why? And I scrolled through the live chat and I couldn't see anything that anyone said that could be misconstrued. So I don't know what happened. Maybe Kathy, maybe you deleted something. And even if you delete it, it stays kind of in the memory of that. And then they have to look and see that it was deleted. And then I don't know if you can undelete something. You might be able to, but I'm going to touch my face so we can all take a drink. Cheers. So today what we did, just in review, we redid work we did a few days ago in lesson 2 of, I think it was daily lesson number 19. We did this in the key of C, and today we did this in the key of G major. So if you want to take a screenshot, I'll get my face out of there. And then what we did was we wrote a G scale on the bottom string. Well, not this guitar. I'm not going to do that. And then we wrote the G scale, and we harmonized it with a third, and then we took that third and we went up an octave, and then it became a 10th. And so here are the 10ths in the key of G. So if you want to do a screenshot of that, I highly recommend you writing this work in your own hand. I highly recommend you playing it on the guitar. That's 4 layers of learning something. Okay. You see that? If you're an auditory learner, you're having me explain it to you. Some of you get things that way. I don't. I can teach that way, but I can't learn that way. Or very, 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 very slowly. I'm not a very good auditory learner. Some of you like to see it. You're a visual learner, and you saw it on the paper and you saw it on the guitar. So that's actually 2 layers. And then another way of learning was for you to copy it down, and that's more hands-on, which is another way you learn. And then another way is to play it yourself. So there's multiple ways. So let's see, Charles, what did you say? We will use the 10th in the chord, but I'm going to call it the third. It's the third of the chord, harmonically speaking. But truth be told, you're up a 10th. But we're going to call it. AJ is going to change it on the sheet that he gave me. He's going to change it to third. He's probably already done it and sent it to me, but I want him to. Let's see. Okay, that's interesting, Kathy. That's good to know. Oh, I see. Oh, thanks. Oh, I see. You were doing that was a test. Okay. That's interesting. So thanks, Charles. You did that. So we know. So that's probably what happened is somebody said something snarky. Kathy deleted it. And then it stayed in the memory of the thing. And then I had to dispute it because it changed within an hour or two. It went to, fully monetized. So yesterday's video is fully monetized. You can still see it too. Okay. That's interesting. So that's probably what happened. And that's why we try to keep this a family channel so that I can keep it monetized or that advertisers are fine advertising on it. I know that people log in, they see an advertisement on this. So I know a lot of you saw advertisements at the beginning because I watched somebody's video the other day and I got an advertisement, live stream, and I got a video before it would start. And so I'm like, I'm fine with that. I'm 100% fine with that. And generally the ads are targeted. So I'm getting a lot of guitar lesson videos, which is funny because, they're just because that's what I teach. So yeah, Rick M, exactly. A 10th is a third up an octave. So if we were to, I'm going to put this away so I can have the regular tuned guitar in there. I'm not going to fall for it. I'm not going to see. Now I know this is drop D or drop A actually. I play this guitar, but the strings are so old. It's just nasty. I got to restring it. But that one, Elixir doesn't make strings for that one. So I have to spend extra money for those strings. They're kind of expensive. So I'll wait until I actually going to do some recording up before I pull that guitar out. heck? What sound is this? What did I pull up? Oh, weird. Okay, let's go with a simpler sound. So yeah, the thirds was this. So we counted up 3, 1, 2, 3, and we got the third. If we count up 10 in the major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 8 being an octave. There's a symbol sometimes if you're reading music and it says 8 VA, and it's written above the staff, it means play what's written up an octave. If it's written below the staff, it means play. I think 8 VA below the staff means play down an octave. That I don't ever see that on guitar, but oftentimes you'll see, because they don't want to write a million ledger lines up there, they'll write up an octave. And I'm glad, because I don't want to read a million ledger lines. So, okay. Yeah, so I'm touching my face so you guys can take multiple sips now. Verdi, you can smoke a cigarette. Okay, so we're going over an hour or 2 hours. Tomorrow we're going to finish that. We're going to more application of the chord theory. Diane, sorry that wasn't a very good story I told today. Almost every story I'm going to tell, though, is self-deprecating. It's going to be something where I'm an idiot, which fortunately I have a lot of those stories. So, in fact, I may be telling stories about doing live stream someday. So you may be able to go, hey, I remember that when that happens. So, okay, no worries, Mark. You can watch in retro spec. So I'm going to sign out, you guys. I'm going to leave the live chat up so you guys can, yes, you can tell your story. Do we have a story together, David, yet? I know you've got a serious story. I mention you all the time on there that you've got 2 parents that you're taking care of in New York City, which is crazy. So glad to see the numbers down worldwide in New York City in particular. LA never really got hit very hard. I think part of the reason is because we only have about 1 million people that participate in LA on public transportation, whereas there's about 8 million in New York City that use public transportation on a regular basis. And by public transportation, I mean basically subways and buses. It's not very common here. LA is California is a car culture, so we're all in our own little bubbles. We're all like little bubble boys driving around LA. So I think that's a big part of how it spread originally. Do I have a smoke alarm story, or do you have a smoke alarm story? Maybe East End, you can go live tomorrow and you can tell your stories. I bet you have a few. I'm sure you do. A VW fan. I'm a VW fan. Oh, VW Bug. Yes, VWs are great. I've never owned a VW though. We have Volvos, so we do buy Scandinavian, Dennis. But we've had 4 Volvos in a row now. Both my wife and I have S10 or S80s. So, although when I was in Holland, the Uber drivers, every Uber we took, they all had Teslas, which was really cool. And like not Tesla Model like 3s, they had S's. They were super nice. I was like, dang, this is a nice car. So I know Volvo is very different than VWs. But my next car is probably for sure going to be a Tesla. I'm not a car guy. I've never been into cars. Don't really care. The reason we got into VW is because Volvos is because we had 3 kids and we want to keep them safe. Those things are solid as a rock. Rick, the worst get you ever was a flatbed. I've played on flatbed trailers. I had to step off the back because a 15-inch cymbal was next to my left ear. Ow. Oh yeah. Oh, that's the worst. I'm almost completely deaf in my left ear and completely blind in my left eye. So this part of my head doesn't even work. My right brain doesn't do anything. It's just useless. So I'm deaf in my left ear because I was a messenger for years and years. And I had a Honda Civic that didn't have air conditioning. So I had the window down and I'm driving on freeways next to semis and cars and everything, and just had the wind and the noise in my left ear for hours a day. And so I did touch my face. Cheers. I'm going to take a drink of water too, for those of you who are like worried that I'm not getting hydrated enough. hate the taste of water. People say it doesn't taste like anything. I said, no, it tastes like water. It's a bad taste. Some people love it, but you go, yeah, no. But yeah, so but I'm sure part of it was also, and I have horrible tinnitus too. I don't know how I survive on the tinnitus thing because it just, if you fixate on it, it's gonna bother you. I heard that in Europe there is, I'm actually signed up for a test, but it's been a long time since I've heard anything from them. So maybe they're not doing. Maybe the test didn't turn out well. But they were doing, like in Houston, it was a European company that was doing a cure for. Oh, I have a cure, a short-term cure for tinnitus. Anybody have tinnitus? This will freak you out, but it'll also make you sad. Anybody have tinnitus? Let me know. Say who's got tinnitus, and I can show you this. I'm not going to do it right now because it would take too long. I'm buying a Cybertruck. No, I'm not going to buy a Cybertruck. No, I'll just probably get a Model 3. I want to buy Beth a Tesla. If she ends up getting a teaching job in South Pasadena, she's going to have a drive. Okay, so Mark, you have tinnitus. Okay, Stephen. Oh, Kathy, you do too. Okay, this is either a really good thing or a really bad thing. It just depends. I can make your tinnitus go away. In fact, I'm really tempted to do it right now. I know I'm already at 211. But if you do this with me, let's see, you've got a bit, Kathy. Okay. So David, you do too. Yeah. So, yeah, you go listen to a lot of metal concert stuff. I saw the Rolling Stones at the Coliseum in LA back in '89, I think, and it was the loudest concert I've ever been to. My right side was facing the speaker. We had record company seats, Warner Brothers seats, so they were really good seats. They were way too close. It was very bad, and I didn't have earplugs with me. But so we got people with tinnitus. Okay, check this out. This is crazy. I'm going to have to aim the camera down, and at first you're going to be like, "What is Tom doing?" Okay. And then we can do it together. The sad part about it is it makes the tinnitus go away. Okay. But it will come back within just a couple minutes. But the sad part is it'll make you go, oh, that's what it was like without tinnitus. And then it comes back. So it could be a little dangerous for you because it might make you fixate on it because, part of the main thing of dealing with tinnitus is just to not think about it. I know that's really hard. I know people put fans on in their bedrooms and things like that. If you're at that level, it's bad. I can hear it pretty much all the time, even if there's noise or if I'm outside and you can hear animals, things like that. Okay, so check out. You got to do this. This is just, oh, shoot. Let's see. How do I get this? How am I going to do this? Okay, so maybe I can just do it on my lap. So what you need to do is you need to put your hands down like this. You can do it on a tabletop, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to put your first finger on top of your second finger, and you're going to push to slap. See, if I do it on a tabletop, it makes a noise. Hear that? Well, Mark, this may help you, and this could be something you could do right before you go to bed. If you can fall asleep fast, it may work. Okay. See that? So I'm pushing my first finger hard onto the, in this case, on my lap. You can see I'm wearing pants. Okay. It's not making any sound, but on the tabletop, it makes a sound. Okay. So then what you do, okay, now, I go a little higher. Okay, so now I'm going to take off my glasses. And now what you do is you cover your ears with the palms of your hands like this, and you do that on the back of your head. Could you see that? I can't see your writing. I'm blind, but we're gonna do this. This is gonna be good to you. If someone tunes in right now, they're gonna be like, "What the heck is Tom doing? This is crazy." But okay, we're gonna do this together. You ready? You with me? We're gonna do this 50 times. 50 times. And you gotta push on your ears so you can't hear anything, and you're gonna hit pretty hard the top of your neck right there. Okay. Now, hopefully nobody gets a stroke because you're hitting a blood vessel or something. I don't know. This is something I saw on YouTube, and it blew me away because it really works. Okay, here we go. 50 times. 9, 10. Yeah, it's so weird. Is that not crazy? Diane, you noticed, right? Diane's already was ahead of everybody. Tom finally lost it. Yeah, exactly. I'm down to 29 viewers now. It's like, oh my God. Yeah, so awesome. Steve, you actually you noticed too? Or did you do it? Mark, you did it. Isn't that amazing? It's the best trick ever. I know, right? It's going to come back. You'll hear it come back, but it comes up slowly. It takes a couple, 3 minutes or whatever. If you can fall asleep fast, you could do that right before you go to bed, and you could. Yeah, it's a really, really cool thing. I don't know what's going on. The thing is, tinnitus is it's not psychological. It's your brain generating those tones. Those are literally the tones I can't hear. I'm almost completely deaf in this ear, and I have tinnitus in that ear. And it's the pitches that I can't hear. And I've been to all the doctors and everything. There's really nothing they could do about it. But this place in Europe was doing this study, and they had this thing where they were doing. It sounds like I don't know, but they said talked about resetting your brain. So it was a combination of electrodes and massage created this, got rid of it, and there were people swearing by it, but it hadn't been approved everywhere, and it hadn't been approved in the U.S. But they were doing a trial study in like Houston, I think in Pittsburgh and Chicago. They hadn't gotten to L.A., and I put my name on the emailing list. Thanks, Keith. Yeah, isn't that cool, Charles? It's just like it's crazy. Okay. Well, yeah, it was. Sorry, Kathy. So basically, what we did was we just you take this is just so you know what to do on the back of your head, but you basically put your first finger on your second finger and snap down. You try to make pretty hard snap. It's still not back. I mean, mine's quiet, but not as back as it was. Yeah, it's so crazy, David. David, the tinnitus thing isn't damage with your ears. It's in your brain. I'm like, oh, and so this study, this cure was like they said resetting your brain, which really it's like, yeah, we're just gonna clear the hard drive. I'm like, no, it's just we're just gonna make it all zeros. It's like, well, I'm already all zeros up there. So yeah, so then what we did was we covered our ears, pushed on our ears, and then did that 50 times on the back of your head. And it's crazy. I should do a video of it. A video already exists, but because I hesitate to do any kind of medical ones. Although I do want to interview Kathy or Kelly, one of my collaborators. Her dad is a rheumatologist. I want to interview him about playing exercises and medicines and things like that for guitar players. So anyway, okay. I'm going, yeah, exactly, clearing the cache. Okay, Kevin, and try it again, maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it makes it do it. Maybe just the pounding on the back of your head makes your brain kind of go, "What is that?" And then it draws the attention away from it. It's back now. Mine's completely back. So I don't know how long that was. It was about 7 minutes, and it came completely back. So yeah, so that could be discouraging in some ways because you're going to have this thing where you're like, oh, that's what it was like to not have tinnitus. But it is crazy how it works. So anyway, God bless you guys. I'll talk to you later. See you tomorrow, 11 Pacific time. Everybody, a lot of likes there, thumbs ups. I appreciate that. Feel free to shop at the Amazon links, and I make a little bit from that. Every month I get a little check from Amazon for that. So I appreciate that. And then tomorrow we're going to finish the key of G. We're going to do the triads, the fifths, the triads, and the seventh chords. And we're going to end up with some new chords. So yesterday we learned 4 new chords that you multiply by 12. That's 48 chords. We're going to learn 48 more chords tomorrow by learning 4 new chords. Okay. Yeah, I'll check out the Facebook messages. Thank you. And I'm going to end the stream, and you guys keep talking and say goodbye. Okay. Bye-bye.